We'd like to welcome you to the 2026-2027 Club One volleyball season, and my name is Bree Isaacson, and I'm the club director here at Club One.
And my name is Bridget Hack, and I'm the business manager.
And we are currently in Florida at the AAU National Championships, and the humidity is 1,000%. And it is a thunderstorm outside, so if you hear some loud noise, we are stuck in our hotel room. And we are on day 79 of the National Championship. So we're not thinking as straight as we were when we started.
Yes.
We are having a ton of fun. Our kids are rocking it out. There's no place we'd rather be. But we wanted to get our video together for all of you with tryouts fast approaching. Several years ago, almost like 15 years ago, I think, we came up with this idea to do the video instead of a parent meeting because it's hard for parents with multiple kids to get everywhere that they need to be. We are starting our 19th year here at Club One, and we're trying to get smarter for people. We do, if you were at the tryout, we do host a quick parent meeting as well in person, but we like to provide this as well to give more detailed information to our families. And then certainly if there's a question that you have after it's over, you can reach out to us via phone or email, and we'd be happy to get back to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief snapshot of what our program is about. If you have played club volleyball before, I don't think there's anything I'm really going to share with you that you wouldn't know. If you are brand new, I do think that this is informative and will kind of give you an idea because it is much different than like a middle school or a high school season. So we are excited coming off of our previous club year. We're still in the middle of the national championships. We have teams alive, which we love to see. Our boys haven't even come yet. We had a boys team this year qualify for Open, which was really exciting. We've had several tournament championships this year. We have 8 kids going on to play in college from our 18 Skronk team and 2 from our 18 Royal team. So it's a fun year for us, and we're excited, and we certainly don't want to see it go, but we don't have much time to think about it because we just roll into the next one. So, but we're not done yet. So hopefully we'll finish these tournaments strong. Couple quick things. So our permanent practice facility is the Community Sportsplex in Plainfield. It's the same place you tried out. We occupy that facility Monday through Friday, 4 to 10. So that is our home base. And then we had a new system a couple years ago with Sprocket.
Which we love now.
We love Sprocket.
Yeah.
We didn't so much love it at the transition of thousands of people.
No, during trial.
During tryouts.
Yeah, that was tough.
However,
but we did it.
we live to tell about it, and it is a great system. So all of our communication, we post a ton of stuff on our website, but all of our communication will come through Sprocket, and you use Sprocket to register for the tryout, and you'll use it to register for the program as well. We are members of both AAU and USA Volleyball. Basically what that means is we have no limitations on where we can play. Our goal as a club is to play the best competition that we can wherever that takes us. We do require our families to get memberships in both AAU and USAV. That information will come out from Bridget. It will provide you with the links, and then all paperwork, which you do the majority at the time of registration, but then the AAU and the USAV membership, those will need to be completed before our first practice starts. So we have time. I'm going to kind of fill you guys in on when we start. We haven't even started our high school seasons yet. We're already talking about club season.
Right,
but just as a heads up, I don't know. I have 4 kids. Bridget has 4 kids. There's 8 between us. It's sort of sometimes a hot mess. So the sooner people can tell us, the better off we are. Our youth program, which is anybody 8th grade and down, will begin in October. And then our high school program will begin in November. High school athletes cannot participate in club volleyball until their high school season ends, so all athletes would have to be done before they could start. Youth doesn't have those limitations, but we want them to play for their middle school teams, and so we want them to finish that season, maybe have a smidge of a break before they jump into club because the club season can be long. Our youth teams go till May, and then our high school teams go till June. So we start in October and November, and then we finish in May and in June. That's the thunder outside.
Thunderstorm here.
It's happening. When we set the practice schedule, it's set for the entire year. So we have a pretty good idea of what that looks like right now. but we won't be able to formally send that out until we get through with tryouts. We've had our re-registration for our current club kids, and then we will send it out, and you will know you will have the same practice days and times throughout the whole season at the community sportsplex. The first several weeks of practice will be designed for team selection. So everyone comes in. The first thing that we'll do is positional work, depending on the age. We'll do positional work. And then from there, we kind of put them into groups. And then from there, we put them into competition groups. And we look at them over a period of time before we place them. So we do that to kind of ensure if someone has an off day, maybe somebody was injured during the middle school or high school season, maybe someone didn't play for middle school or high school season, and that they need more practice before they're giving, at their 100% performance where someone else might be there. So we look at over a long period of time, but we try to get the rosters correct from the beginning. And we use several different coaches and several weeks of practice to ensure that we get it as correct as we can. We do have people ask me quite often about our coaches, right? And we know that coaches have a direct impact on the experience that our athletes have and our parents have. And we're pretty proud of our coaches. If you were registered for the tryout, we emailed out to you, or if you, by this time, everyone will have kind of seen it, just a quick bio of what all of our coaches have done. And we have many coaches on our staff who played in high school and played in college. We have some previous college coaches on our staff. We have high school coaches, previous high school coaches, middle school coaches, previous middle school coaches, and we just have a wide variety of coaches that bring a lot to our gym. Sometimes people have asked, and I mentioned this before, people will ask us, do you have parents that coach the team? So I do want to say this because I think people have commented throughout the years, not about, just in general. We have several parents, 4 or 5, on our staff, I would be one of them, that played collegiately, played in high school, have coached middle school long before their kids ever came through our program. So yes, we have some parents that are on our staff, but they're coaches who now their kids are playing too, and oftentimes we don't allow a parent to coach their kids. There are always exceptions to that, but we want to make sure that our coaches can, give the best experience they can to the kids and to the families. So oftentimes they coach separate teams, but we have had it sometimes where they've coached their own kid, and that works out as well. So just as a heads up, we have very qualified coaches with a lot of experience, and we think they offer a lot to our program. When it comes time for practices to start, I'll email you out the practice schedule. We do ask that our athletes arrive 15 minutes before practice. I do just want to mention, sometimes I know we're coming in hot. Kids are coming from other sports. You're coming home from work. You just dropped 2 other kids off somewhere else and you're beelining it down 59. 15 minutes is our rule of thumb. However, sometimes people are just late, and in that situation, we ask that your athlete just hustle in and get into practice as soon as possible. So, but that's the general rule of thumb for that. It's getting wild out there.
It might be a hurricane sound.
Shoot. The proper attire for practices is a Club One practice t-shirt, spandex, knee pads are a choice, although I do believe most people wear them, volleyball shoes, hair tied back. At the beginning of the season, if you are new to Club One, you maybe don't have a Club One practice t-shirt. In that scenario, any athletic t-shirt will do. If you are a returning Club One player, we would expect that they wear Club One t-shirts, and then once the Club One uniform package arrives, we would expect our athletes to wear Club One t-shirts to practice. If your daughter's going to be late to practice, at the beginning we don't have specific coaches, so sometimes people would email or text Bridget or myself. Sometimes we have lead coaches of each age division, and if you've been around the program, you know who that lead coach is. We do ask that your daughter email or text the coach if they're going to be late or absent for that matter. But at the beginning, when you don't really know who that person is, you can certainly reach out to us. But even if they're just going to be like 15 minutes late, it's so helpful for us as the staff if we know that in advance. If you miss a practice, so it's one practice and you were sick and you really haven't had any conflicts, it's not mandatory to make up a single practice. If you're sick for 2 weeks, I would definitely suggest that we make up some of those practices, not only for the team, but also for the individual who missed the time. If you're a multiple sport athlete, we're asking maybe there's a different day of the week where you don't have a conflict. You could come in for the reps there, but that isn't necessarily mandatory for a multiple sport athlete. But one thing that we kind of like is that if you miss a practice and you want to make it up, you can make it up in a different age division on a different night or time that's one age higher than you. So if you're a 13, you couldn't make up the practice with the 13s because there's no extra, but we would ask that you make it up with the 14s as opposed to the 12s. So, and there's always an exception to that. If we have a unique situation and someone reaches out, we're more than willing to help. But we want to let our families know that if there's a conflict, that our athletes have the opportunity to kind of get in there and make up any reps lost. We do ask that the athlete just let the coach know, like, hey, I'm going to come in Thursday with Bridget's team. And then I would say, okay, Bridget, just so you know, my kid's coming to your practice. But we also are pretty flexible. If someone showed up, we would make it work. But we do love that we're able to offer that so that our athletes have an opportunity to get the most out of it. We don't traditionally have this problem, but I am just going to put this out there. If athletes start regularly missing practice, and it's not another sport, and they're gone quite a bit, and they're not really making up the practices, and I'm not talking about like some extreme situation, I'm just saying like one day it was a birthday, and the next day it's homework, and the next day is sick, and then the next day is you forgot you had practice, things like that, it will affect playtime. And I just want to put that out there because it's tough, because it does affect a whole team. So we are not in the business of punishing anyone or making people feel bad. And we feel pretty fortunate that we have special athletes at Club One that don't take advantage of that. But every now and then you have a situation where someone's just not really regularly there. And sometimes, not communicating. And I just want to put it out there in that scenario that would affect an athlete's playtime. We use a master coach philosophy at Club One. And basically what that means is all practice plans usually created by me or other lead coaches in the age divisions that use the same plan for every team that we have in the gym at the same time. So if you come into a 15U practice and it's 6 o'clock, everybody in the gym is going to be doing the same thing. Certainly if we have teams that, are incredibly advanced, we might make it a little more difficult to challenge them in time or number of reps, or if we have a little bit more an experienced group, let's say it's a young 13s group, we may adjust the end goal. But we think it's really important that everybody understands that we're all getting the same opportunity, the same practice plan, the same training, so that we can all grow and get better. All of our coaches are working together in the gym. Yes, we're coaching our own teams, but we're all working together in the gym. Sometimes we do station work where coaches stay and teams rotate. Sometimes we rotate with our teams. We have a variety of different things that we think helps advance the athletes who play for us, but we're all getting the same opportunity because we're all using the same training practice plan. I touched on this just for a second about multiple sport athletes. I say this all the time. I have 4 kids. My oldest son ended up being a volleyball player, but if in 8th grade, he had to make that decision, he wouldn't have picked volleyball. So we think that if kids are young and they want to be involved in more things, we want to support them to do that. We also think that sometimes that helps with injury prevention. So what we ask is that if you're playing another sport, it's a high school sport, it's a middle school sport, it's another club, whatever we're doing, that we have great communication with the coach. If you have to come late, you have to leave early, whatever it is, but as long as you're making the effort to get there, we 100% support it. The tournament schedule, which I know everybody loves to know what that is because we do too. Let me just brief you a little bit. We play on average twice a month starting in January. Tournaments start opening in August, then September, then October. Usually by middle of October, most things are out. What we like to do is put together just a template of tournaments. Coaches will sometimes start to send them out if they're host facilities, and so you kind of have an idea. Some just don't come out until they come out. And what we do is we put together a soft tournament schedule. But until we're able to officially register, roster, and pay, we aren't accepted. So if any of you heard what happened with AAU this past club season, that is also why Bridget and I get our hair colored more often these days, because that was one of the most stressful things we've
We
ever
don't
done.
ever want that to happen again.
Never. Their website went down. Millions of people were trying to be on it. Then when they got the website back up, Stripe went down, which was their payment plan. It was just horrible. We've never had that happen before, and nor have they. I mean, it was just an unfortunate sequence of events. But we are not officially confirmed in any tournament until we receive the acceptance. So you will get the tournament schedule from me in November. It will be set for the entire year. You will know from January to May or June, depending if you're a youth or high school, when you play and when you don't play. The only thing you may not know is the exact time. So you know you're playing this Saturday, but you may not know if you're morning or afternoon or what time you start till the Wednesday before. Tournament hosts do that because teams drop and they have to send several revisions. And so sometimes it's easier for them just to wait. Reoccurring tournaments like leagues, traditionally in AES, they just, once one weekend ends, it populates to the next weekend. So some you're gonna know very early in advance. Some you're not gonna know until a couple days before, but you will know the weekends that you play, so there will be no surprises for that. A few tournaments are half day. Most, you're going to play 8 to 3 or we're going to play 3 to 8 is basically what you're going to do. Sometimes you could go to a tournament where you play till there's a true champion. And in that situation, you play pool play, quarters, semis, finals, especially in the winter months. You leave your house when it's dark, you come home when it's dark. But those are good days. But then league plays and things like that are traditionally half days. And they are rotating facilities. And generally speaking, they could be 1 hour in any direction, but you will have that information from us in terms of that. And then we also send out a little tutorial on AES. So if you don't know how to use it, we can kind of teach you, because oftentimes as we get more experienced families, they know they're like, Bree, the schedule's already out. I'm like, dang it.
I know my
I was
team's
on
already
all morning.
Yeah, my team's already at the court. I didn't
Right.
know where I was supposed
Right,
to be.
exactly. So they do that. So we'd be happy if anybody has any questions with that. We also host a Volleyball 101 at the beginning of every season. And it's essentially just to let families know like the rules of volleyball, how many subs, how timeouts work, rotational work, like what the antennas are, what the lines are. The game has changed. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but if you are in my age range, which is getting up there, we didn't have rally scoring. We didn't have let serve. We didn't even know what a libero was, and we played in a totally different era. So sometimes it's nice to have a little refresher, even if you are a volleyball person. And sometimes our kids get into sports we know nothing about, and so that helps as well. So we'll have a Volleyball 101 where we would also take you through how to use AES so that you could access your tournament schedules as soon as they're available as well. I do just want to mention this because it's the worst part about volleyball. Someone might argue it's something else, but I would really be adamant that this is it.
I know what you're going to say.
Reffing. It's the pits.
It's the pits.
All I can tell you is the last thing you want to do is ref, especially after you lose, and then they stick it to you to make you stay and ref. Volleyball has been that way since the 90s. I don't know what happened before then, but I was there then. And what I can tell you is that it is the expectation that every athlete stays until all officiating duties are complete. It's the same responsibility as playing. It stinks. We all have places to go. But if we did not have enough people to officiate, that would forfeit us matches in the future. So because nobody wants to stay just because, everybody has to stay just because. So parents don't have to do anything. So you guys can go sit in the car or, go somewhere else. But kids have to stay until that's all done. So just please make sure that you know that that's a really important part of the day as well. I just like to mention this, outside food. If you have kids in volleyball, basketball, well, I guess soccer's free reign, but almost anywhere that you go inside, they don't let you bring in outside food. So just be prepared that either you go back out to your car, or you buy something at their concession, or you do whatever you have to do, but don't be shocked if there's no outside food. And if you are eating outside food, they'll let you know that that can't be inside the facility. If you have an allergy, you can let them know. But oftentimes now concession stands have food on their menu that is designed for gluten or dairy or all these other things. So 10 years ago, there was like a
Pass that you
you
had to
could
wear.
use a pass
Yeah.
and go do it, and today they're thinking absolutely not. So just
Yeah.
as a heads up.
Yep.
One of the things that people always kind of ask us about is playtime, right? So that's a hot topic, and certainly our goal as a club and our goal as coaches, we've been doing this for a minute, right? Like I was just telling a mom that my first membership, now granted I wasn't a coach, but I was a player, was in 1990. And that mom told me she was born in 1990. And then I realized I was I was like, I just stared at her. She's probably gonna watch this video right now. And then I realized, like, holy cow, like, so it was in 1990. We love this game, and when we were too old to play it, we wanted to give back by coaching, right? And there's incredible things that you learn from being on a team, and some of them are because they're wonderful memories, and some of them because they're hard memories, right? Like I remember having things happen to me along the way, or when I played in college, or things that were difficult, but they certainly shaped me into the person that I am today. We set up our teams with the best chance for everyone to have an opportunity to play. But with that said, we want kids to work and compete for spots, right? Like if we just say everyone gets to play because they showed up today, it does make it a little difficult for people to continue to work hard when the grind of the season gets a little bit long. We're open communicators. We talk with our kids. We let them know it's not like they think they're working hard and then they realize they're not. Most of the time they know anyways. But you know, sometimes the position you play impacts how much you play. I'll give you an example. If you're a right side and you're running a 6-2 and your daughter is an attacker, she's probably not going to serve, right? Because the setter's going to sub in for her. So sometimes there's things that are just out of our control. And then other times it's because someone else on the team is doing that a little bit better or a little louder or working a little bit just more aggressively or whatever it is. We will give all of our kids an opportunity to play. But the amount they play, what we do in a third set, is really determined by them. So if your daughter is kind of unhappy about her playtime, or you're unhappy, we do have a 24-hour rule. I do not know anyone who doesn't have one of those, but all I know is once you say it, you can't take it back. So that works pretty well to not say anything. And then what I would really suggest is that your daughter just schedule a time with the coach, not at the tournament, not in the middle of practice. It just says, hey, can we have a quick conversation? The reality of it is the coach sees the player every day in practice. And so they would have the best feedback to give the athlete to kind of get them maybe moving in the right direction. If that conversation happens, doesn't seem right, coach, parent, kid, myself, or Bridget, we can all sit together and talk. Right? I think sometimes there could be a little disconnect between the kid and the coach, but most times I think they're pretty realistic about where they're at and what they're doing, right? And volleyball's hard. I tell this to people all the time, especially when they're young. The court's big, the net's high, and the ball's heavy. When we think about this, our 12-year-olds and our 13-year-olds are playing on the same court size, same net height, and oftentimes the same ball as the Olympians, right? Those girls are like 30 years old, and we're doing the same thing with the littles. So volleyball's hard. What we want to teach them is how to be aggressive, how to take chances, because then they can clean up the rest of it, right? So we know that kids are going to make mistakes, and that's not, we're looking for effort. We're looking for making corrections. We're looking for understanding things that we're giving them and just an overall desire to work hard and get better. So we do have a couple things, like we just ask that parents are respectful of the club, the coaches, the players. I know this sounds silly, but I do think sometimes we just need a little reminder. We need to demonstrate good sportsmanship to C1 players as well as other teams, coaches, and officials, and we need to support the development of every player. I do just want to say this. I promise you that every tournament you have, you're probably going to have one bad call because your kid's going to have one bad mistake. I'm probably going to forget to say one important thing because there are so many pieces that are going on when you're playing multiple matches in a singular day, right? An official is there. If our team is there from 8 to 2, or 3. And then another wave comes 3 to 8. That official is there from 8 to 8, right? But the reality of it is, I don't want to officiate. She doesn't want to officiate.
No, I do not.
Our parents should not be officiating. So we need to be respectful because no one call is going to make or break a situation. Travel. So let me just put a little bit of this out there. So traditionally, our 12s do not travel. We have bounced around the idea of getting them just to something a little, like just get their feet wet a little bit. We went to Rockford a couple of years ago, and even though that was an hour and 10 minutes from our house, they felt like they were on a big travel trip because there was a pool at the hotel. So 12s traditionally don't travel, although if we ever adjusted to that, it would be one travel event. We are very fortunate in the Midwest that we are not short of good competition. So we do not have to travel far to play good teams. So
You could come to Florida and play.
or you could come to Florida and play the same teams from back at home, which we did today for her 2 days in a row.
Yeah. The same team.
So that 13s and 14s and then 15s and 16s, 17s, 18s, they all do a travel event. Some places that we go to MEQs, which is Indy or St. Louis. We can go to JVA Worlds, which is Kentucky. We can go to Milwaukee. We can go to the Wisconsin Dells. It's a drive. Whatever it is, it's a drive. And then our 15 Skronk Royal White and Blue, 16 Skronk Royal White and Blue, all 17s, and go to Florida for the AU National Championships in addition to that. So all of that is included in your fees, but it's kind of set up differently. Athletes stay with their parents.
We love that.
Let me tell you why.
Having 8 kids, I need to have a rein on mine. Mine are all grown now, but at the time with all the travel,
Yeah.
I had to know what was happening. They needed to eat, sleep.
Yeah.
Parents pay a lot of money and a lot of time to do these things, and
Yeah.
we need them fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We're all here for the team bonding experience, right? We want to bond, we want to have fun, we want to win, we want to do all those things. However, we've had a couple in our earlier years where one time there was a fire in the hotel.
We
One
lived
time
to survive.
we did live,
Yeah, we
but
lived.
it was also pitch black, so we didn't know where anyone was.
Right.
There was a tornado at the airport.
Yeah.
One time a kid put a mattress out on the balcony. I've blocked the rest of that story out because I don't really remember what happened, but that did happen. And so those were enough life experiences for me that I thought I was going to stick to what I was good at, and that was coaching. And then we thought, hey, listen, we want our kids to get a good night's sleep. We don't want to have to worry, did they eat enough? We don't want to worry about any of that stuff. And so athletes stay with their parents on travel events, and we are here for it. We are here for it.
And yeah, we are. And they
Yeah.
do their thing, and they still have wonderful bonding experiences.
They do.
With dinners and lunches and brunches and all the things.
And oftentimes they stay together at the same hotel.
They do.
Right?
Yeah.
So what happens is for any USA event, which is like a qualifier or a national championship, that's a state of play. And in that situation, the tournament itself provides a hotel block for us. It's normally based on how many years you've been going to the tournament, how many teams you send, and they give it to us, and we have to meet the quota in order to be accepted into the tournament along with all the other requirements. AAU/JVA is a not state of play, which means you could secure hotel on your own. So you might say to me, how would I know? You will get a travel letter from me for any travel trip that your daughter participates in. And it will be very clear. Here's the room block that you have to stay in, or you are free to book at a hotel that works best for you. It gives you the dates, it gives you some general information, and certainly if you think of more that I needed to provide, you could always reach out and tell me. But before you do really any booking, you would get that travel letter from me, and then you would kind of take it from there. I do want to just mention that some parents have said, we really like staying together, and we were wondering if you could set that up. And it became a little different, where hotels were requiring you to use a certain percentage of the blocks booked, and what you didn't use, you were responsible for on your credit card. And because club is already expensive, if somebody doesn't have, if it's stay to play, we got to stay to play, right? And I don't even have a say in that hotel. But if it's not stay to play and a team wants to stay together, you know, if you guys want to book all at the same place, I think it's great. But if somebody has like points and they want to be able to use them or something like that, I don't want to force the hand and make people have to stay somewhere if they have that. So we want our teams to be together. We want them to do team lunches, team dinners. We want, if you guys want to be at the same hotel, we want you to stay at the same hotel. And you could always reach out to me and say, can you give me some recommendations in Grand Rapids? And I would be happy to provide it. But then ultimately families can kind of do what's best for them. In our high school program, we do a weight training program. It is built into their practices. And then in our 14U program, Coach Mark Yeager offers, when the boys season ends, which is like mid-February, he offers like a modified strength and conditioning to our 14U program after their practices, Mondays and Wednesdays for the remainder of the season, but you would get more information on that. We also offer, this past season, we offered 8 free training sessions. They're on Wednesdays after our boys end. They are free to our Club One families and only available to our Club One families. Round 1 was setters, attackers. Round 2 was serve and pass. Round 3 was first contact. And then round 4 was blocking competition. And then we recycled them. So we'll be doing the same thing this next season as well. We'll put those dates out. And again, they're free to our families. Just someone who needs extra touches, we want to be able to provide that. And then also we did the volleyball 101, which we had some fun with. And then also this past year, we do a big sister, little sister, where the older girls write letters to the younger girls and then vice versa. So we do one time where they all get to meet each other. And this past year, we did sort of a nutrition, injury prevention. We brought in a doctor who kind of talked about those things. And so each year we kind of recycled the theme. So it's new and relative to our kids. But how to eat, what we eat, those things are something we should always be talking about when we're competitive athletes. So that is something also kind of that we do at the club. We do offer private lessons. People ask us this on a regular basis. We do. You would reach out to Bridget or myself. We just don't have it on the website. So you'd have to reach out and we could find you a coach. If you have a specific coach in mind, you could always reach out to them directly. But we do offer. Do I think people have to do them? No, I'm not saying that. But if people want them, we just want them to know that they're available. We do offer recruiting services. We use sports recruits. It is not free to us, but it is free to our families, and it is free to college coaches. In sports recruits, you can set up a profile. You can put very quick videos, both from high school season and club season. You can email out to sports recruits. You can look online to see which colleges are needing which position in your class. And quite frankly, it's very user-friendly for a not technologically savvy person. It's very easy to use. It allows us on the back end to be able to see who's sending things out, where they're at, what they're looking at. Certainly recruiting first and foremost starts with the athlete, but if they need assistance in that process, we're always available to help and to guide them, and we kind of keep in touch with our athletes of where they're at so that we can make sure that we're guiding those that want to play in the right direction. We have over 150 athletes who have gone on to play in college. Finding the right place is the key in all of that. So I want to just mention about our uniforms. That is the only fee that's really not included in the tuition is the uniform. And it's approximately $350 for a new family. We have a Nike sponsorship. We get a ton of good stuff. We get jerseys, which are custom jerseys. We get spandex, knee pads, socks, shoes, a bag, usually a hoodie. But if you've been with us and you don't need your 40-second bag, like they made Bridget do for basketball.
Unbelievable. I'm still finding them.
Her son was just putting them in the back of the closet because he didn't know what to do with them.
3 years for 10 years. How old is he? He's 21.
Old.
Right.
He's old.
So, I mean, I have bags. I'm finding them new ones.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
So we don't want people to have to buy something that they don't need, but we also want to look the same, right? So our uniforms, pre-COVID, Nike would sort of let you recycle, so we tried to use them for 2 years. Post-COVID, we haven't been so lucky. We like to have some sort of matching top, kind of like the one I have on. But if you have Nike shoes and you already have them, you don't have to buy them in the package. But the other items, for a first year family you're going to have to get. The only thing I want to mention is that's a quick turnaround. So as soon as we get the store open, it's going to come to you. It's usually like you have 2 weeks to order your uniform. So just be on the lookout that that's coming, because it does take quite a bit of time in order to get them for tournament play in January. Plus, it's like one of the wildest things to hand out 500 plus jerseys. We need a little time.
Times 3.
Yeah, we don't see as well as we used to. And so it takes us like a very long time.
It takes
so
a minute.
The sooner we get those out, the better off. At the beginning of the season, we have a season kickoff where we let everybody meet each other. We kind of go over expectations for the season. We get uniforms, and we eat because everyone brings in something to share.
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite practice of the
who
year.
doesn't hate that?
I know. It's where I gather great recipes from.
Totally.
I'm like, who made that? Who made that?
Right.
So we
have it featured.
Yeah, so we do that, and then we'll get those uniforms out. But just expect that, that uniform is going to come quick. And we've actually had some families, like great families, reach out and be like, hey, I haven't got anything for the uniform, because they know it's coming. So as soon as we get it, we'll email it out to all of you.
And just really quick on that too, that is something, because I will be talking about fees, and Bree said it's separate, but that is paid directly through them. So when the link is sent to you through us, you'll do everything in order through them, just so we'll send it to you, but processing goes through the company. Yeah.
Perfect. And then at that time, you can order spirit wear. We do a couple spirit wear stores throughout the year. We love to see our families in Club One gear. So that's a great time, or a nice Christmas gift, or whatever it is. But we do put that information out. So look for emails. We do have a website that we love, and we do post things on our website, but we love it because we work in it every day. So sometimes people will say, oh, I can't find this. But we also have a Facebook and we have Instagram. We are sorry. We are not capable of doing more than that. We found out a couple of years ago that we had a Twitter account that neither one of us were running, and we didn't even know where that information was coming from. So we are sticking to what we know. And we know that our Instagram posts directly to our Facebook, and that's where all of our good information goes.
Absolutely.
We will post team successes, college commitments, information about our coaches, all that stuff. And if there's crazy weather and practice had to be canceled, like snow, or we had a tornado this year, it would go there as well. Also a blast out of our Sprocket account. But if you don't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, you should, because there's a lot of good stuff that's there. I do want to make one comment, and then I'm going to hand it over to Bridget. And I appreciate you guys being patient. We hope to have a podcast someday, so we take this time one time a year to really gear ourselves up for our second act, which is a podcast. There are no refunds. So I put this out there to be 100% transparent so everybody knows. And I want to tell you why, because I'm a mom of 4 with kids in athletics, and things happen, right? Like kids get injured or whatever the case is. But once we start at the beginning of the club season, the dues and fees that we collect go to the expenses of the club season, right? Facilities, insurance, tournament fees, travel, coaches, all of those things and more. So when someone gets injured, and traditionally, or someone doesn't want to play, or someone moves, or someone has something, whatever it is, they're all very important reasons to those families, and they are to us too. It doesn't change the fees that are still due, right? So I put that out there so that everyone understands. But what we came up with was that we provide, from an outside company, insurance, so that if you want to purchase the insurance, and certainly we've talked about this, you should do a little research and make sure you know exactly what it covers. Bridget will send a link. If you pay through Sprocket, you're able to purchase it through Sprocket. But if you pay offline, it would have to be purchased separately, because it goes just like the uniform directly to that company. It doesn't come to us. But you can gather the information, and then if you decide that that's what you want, that would cover the season if something happened. And actually, it can cover it before the season even starts.
Correct. So at your registration time, when you register, let's say, it's July 11th and you're like, we're coming to Club One, and you register. And on, July 15th, your daughter goes to a high school practice, or this happened.
It happened.
It happened. This is real. No, we're not. and a major thing happened, a torn ACL, and you purchased that insurance and you knew you would not be able to come back before the season ended, and it was a season, you would be reimbursed any money that you put into it. So it isn't specific just to the actual season that you're playing for club. It's going to prorate it from the time that you actually purchase it. So as you get further and further into the season, the amount you get refunded is prorated less and less. But if something happened in the summer or something else, and I do encourage everybody to find out, but my understanding, it doesn't even have to be sports related, right? So if something happened and you would have to use the insurance, you can. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, I was playing volleyball. So we do encourage people to take a look into that because, or if your family moved, I mean, there's parameters in that. You can't move block away, but there's certain life events that it covers. But that's where we would ask that you just research it.
Yeah, and make sure you know, because we've asked a ton of questions, but we haven't purchased it ourselves. So make sure you know exactly what it covers. But in talking with them and talking with families who've used it, then that way you know before. And because I want to mention this too, if, sometimes we offer payment plans, which Bridget's going to talk about, but if you've paid 3 payments, right, but your daughter then gets injured, you're still responsible for the remaining 3 payments, right? Because I know that it stinks because your daughter can't keep playing, but we have to cover the expenses that we committed to at the beginning of the season. So that's why we think the insurance is so wonderful, because if that's something for you that you want to make sure is covered and it fits in with the parameters of what the insurance is, then it's not something you have to worry about. Because we, as parents of kids, like I've had it all, right? Like my kids have had like crazy, I'm going through something with my daughter right now. So it's like, but you just can't plan for those. So we just want to be honest. It's not that we don't want to be sympathetic or that we don't understand that happened and we think it's terrible, but we just have to cover our expenses that we committed to at the beginning. So,
and just to make one more point on that, the price or the cost of the actual insurance is very minimal. And now we know and totally understand and can appreciate that we're spending a lot of money to do this.
Yes.
But in the scheme of things, we're talking, it's a couple $100. I think for like some of our higher, it's prorated and costed out on the amount of your investment. So, but I think the most expensive one is only about a couple $100. But we actually had somebody use it this year, and they were so grateful for it because it happened later in the season, but they were prorated for the amount that she actually was going to miss. So it is going to be in there, and we can always send you more information on that if you are interested in doing it.
For sure. And I just want to put it out so everybody knows, and we're not even having any bad thoughts, but I just want to put it out there so that everyone knows and so that you're prepared.
For sure.
So I think that's it for me. I'm going to hand it over. Bridget's part is much shorter.
Mine is much shorter.
42 minutes for me. It was not my best, but not my worst.
Yes.
So
what I typically talk about are the fees. So I'm going to go over the fees quickly with everybody just to kind of put it out there. People can rewind and listen for your age division. But when you go through the actual registration, this is all written out in forms before, and you have to, review them before you move on to the next thing. So it will reiterate all of the information. For our season this year, our 12U program is $2,200 for the season. As Bree mentioned, it includes all the tournaments, practices, everything minus the uniform and your memberships. 13U is $2,400. 14s are $2,500, 15s through 17s are $3,350, and our 18U program is $2,750. They do end a little bit earlier, April. They end in April instead of June. We know our seniors have a lot of stuff going on. We offer 3 different payments and options of how to pay. So our first is a pay in full, and you can pay in full on Sprocket, or we give the option of doing it offline, and you can pay in full with Zelle or Venmo. For any 3 of those, we offer a $175 discount. So what your total fees are, if you pay in full, you would get $175 off. When you use Sprocket in any of the scenarios, they do incur, or you will incur a fee from them for using the system. If you use a credit or a debit card, your checking account or a savings account, it's a 1.5% processing fee. And if you use a credit card, it's a 3.5% processing fee, which is why we offer the Zelle or Venmo. You can avoid those fees. So if your fee is $2,200 and you want to Zelle it over because you're a 12, take the $175 off, you would Zelle over $2,025. If you did the Sprocket, you get the $175 off, but you would pay the small fee. So the first plan is paying in full. Our second option that we have is a deposit.
And can I just say this one
Please
thing?
do.
For whatever reason, Sprocket doesn't allow a pay in full option online without Bridget or myself enabling
Yes, we can
it.
talk about
So
that.
I just want to, and we say this in the parent meeting too, but I know we've just given you 45 minutes worth of info. So at this point, you probably turned it down, and I get it.
And I'll tell them it again because it's in the step-by-step too. So
Perfect. We're going to tell it
We're
again.
going to send twice.
But if you want to pay in full what we call offline, which is Zelle or Venmo, or even the next option, which offers a Zelle and Venmo, you just have to shoot us an email, and you just have to say, hey, can you enable the offline option? Because people get confused, and on a handful of occasions, people have paid it thinking they were doing offline. And once you pay it, while we can refund the amount of money, I can't refund the Sprocket fees. So we've had that situation, and it's been tough. So I just want to say, like, we have to enable it. So if you want to do that, you just shoot an email to me or Bridget that says, please enable the offline. We will do it. And then you can go on, select it, and then send it over. But she's going to tell you that anyways.
Yeah, but that's okay because twice is better than none.
Yeah.
Or one, even.
Totally.
Yeah. Because if it's our brains, we need to be running 100 times.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So the first option is pay in full. Your second option is a deposit and then pay in full on September 1st. So what we ask is that families, you'll pay a $500 deposit at registration. You will receive a $125 discount for doing the deposit and then paying it in full on September 1st. Now, when you go into the paperwork and you get to this payment page, we have a financial agreement type thing. It breaks every single thing down. So you will see the program total, what's due at registration, what your 2 payment discount is, which is the $125, and then what the final payment would be due. Again, if you do it in Sprocket, it's going to automatically run it to whatever payment type you put into the system. If you do the Zelle or Venmo, you would receive an email from me around that time just saying that it's coming due. Okay, so that's your second. The third option that we have is an installment plan. Now, with the installment plan, you do not have the option of doing it offline. The only option you have is to store a credit card or a checking account in the system, and that will automatically charge your payments on the due dates. With that, there is a fee for the first installment for the installment, each of the installments, and it's a $10 fee that's just accumulated in that one payment, and then it breaks it down. So let me give you an example. For our 12U program, it's $2,200. You would pay a $400 deposit at registration. So you come on July 11th, you want to register, you pay the $400 deposit. On August 1st, you would have a payment that runs for $360. That includes the installments of $10 per payment. After that, your September, October, November, December, and January 1st payment would be $300. Okay, so the first installment is a little bit higher because it includes those fees in our youth program. In our high school program, because those payments are, or those amounts are a little bit higher, we included it in the full amount and it's separated out, and your deposit is actually like a 7th payment. So for example, instead of paying a $400 fee, for our 15s through 17s, you pay $487.14, but that's for all, that's considered your deposit, and then August, September, October, November, December, January.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, and it will make so much more sense.
It'll make sense when you can actually see it, but most people are always like, just what's the cost? And then you'll be able to take the time to kind of break it down. So as a reminder, if you do Sprocket, you are going to be charged a fee, even if you pay in full, deposit pay in full, or installments, depending on if you choose a credit card or a checking account, will depend on the percentage that you pay. And there is no offline for the installments, okay? So that is kind of the breakdown of that. If you want to do insurance and you're going to pay with Sprocket, it'll give you an option at checkout. It will add those fees in full at your checkout time. Those fees go directly to the insurance company. They don't come to us, so they calculate those and it goes out to that. Again, if you want the offline, you would email us. So let me get to the next thing. So you have come to the tryout. You have now watched the video.
Yep.
At tryout, we will hand out a step-by-step for proper registration. It's about a half-page sheet. between us having 8 kids, we have 6 boys.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a sheet in my life.
No.
They never bring it
It's
home.
still in their bag, and they were in high school 5 years ago.
That and old T-shirts and jerseys. My kid tried to put
And
one on.
one
He was
sock.
in he was in 7th grade, and he was a senior in high school, and it was way too small. And I said that one is from a long time ago.
No.
But if they don't bring the paper home or they forget it, because that happens too.
Yeah.
This is going to be posted on our website, and I will be sending an email saying numbers are posted. Your daughter will receive a T-shirt with a tryout number, and it'll be posted online. The first thing you're going to see on here is step by step with the numbers posted. Number 1, watch the video. So you've already watched the video. Then you're going to just send a quick email to me, and it says it as step 2, just saying, this is so-and-so, we're going to gladly accept, just so I can start taking a look at the people that are kind of coming in. I will tell you that we have our tryout, and during tryouts, we are already getting phone calls, emails, voicemails of people looking for a tryout. So when we can kind of get an idea of who we have coming in, we can kind of start to take a look at those things. So just a quick email like, yes, we're accepting, that's that. Then you're going to kind of all in the same time, you're going to have received an email invite it comes from Sprocket, but from us, and it'll say, congratulations, your daughter has been accepted in this age division, and what things like that's the link where you need to register for the program. And they will walk you through the entire registration process. Once you click that link, you're going to start to put in your info. Now, every single person that tried out has the Sprocket account, so you have to log in with the email and the password that you set up for the tryout, okay? Because that's going to get you in, and it will populate most of your information. So there's a lot of stuff you won't have to put in, but there will be maybe some new things that you will. Number 4, in all bold cap, if you get to the payment page and you make the decision that you want to pay with Zelle or Venmo, you have to email either one of the 2 of us. We will immediately get back to you. We will tell you that we've enabled it and tell you what steps you need to do. You just have to refresh your page, click a box, but we will give you those instructions.
Yep.
You're going to start getting emails regarding uniforms, memberships, anything that we need, forms that need to be filled out. Anything that we need is all going to come through that Sprocket. So we have all of that to get to you. But that's important, like Bree said. There's a little bit of time from July until like October, or July until November. So you'll occasionally on a monthly basis, just as a reminder, like, hey, you got to get your USAV membership, or you're going to need this. It gives people time to kind of plan for it, but it will be kind of go time when you get close to your, and you may start to receive multiple ones. And if you're receiving it, there's probably a good chance you still need it. So if we ever send an email to you and it says, USAV membership, please read it, because there's a reason we're sending it. We need to just make sure that everybody has it. One thing that we do ask is that commitment must be made by the next day. So it will be on Sunday, June 12th at noon. July. Why did I say June? We're in June. I don't know, but thank God you're here, because that would have been terrible. If we haven't received the commitment and your letter, or when your invite actually kind of expires, but if we haven't received it, that's when we're going to begin looking and offering spots, doing makeup tryouts, all the things that we have to do. So please know that having the video, we want you to take your time. We want you to make sure that you understand the information, and that's why we put this as our first thing before you get to that. But there is that, it's about a 24-hour time that we ask that you get registered. But again, all of this is going to be in paper to hand out to you on our website. I'll be emailing you, letting you know that it is posted. And then you can just kind of follow all the instructions to get through the registration process.
Yeah, and the other quick thing, and we talk about this in the parent meeting, is anybody who gets in at 7 p.m. 9 p.m. What's the day? What's
I believe it was 7 p.m.
7 p.m. on the July 11th.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give them our athletes a free T-shirt, and we don't do that to make people make a premature decision. But when Bridget tells you we start getting emails and calls, it's not a joke. So what we want to know is who's with us, because if there's a kid out there looking for a home and I'm telling her she can have a makeup tryout, but I find out the next day that she can't, she maybe missed somebody else's too.
Yeah.
So I will say is if, you know, it has to be by noon the next day, but if you get it in by 7 p.m. the same day, we'll give you your daughter a free practice t-shirt at the first practice. So just as a heads up with that.
Yeah.
But I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think we covered it all.
When you see us on the tryout day,
Yeah.
I won't look like
You were just in
the humidity was 1,000.
You look like Monica
and
from Friends.
I'm telling you, it has been rough.
Well, I got the hat on because I have gray hair for my team. I had to cover it up for just the one day.
Mind you,
but I love them
They
all.
went 6-0 the last 2 days.
They
but
did.
It is stressful.
But
pulling
it's
them
so
along.
stressful.
I
But they are doing awesome, and I love them all. And
Yes.
my kids give me gray hair too. So
Yes,
it's fine. I
totally.
mean, it's all what it is.
But we'd like to welcome you to the Club One family. We love what we do. We're super prideful about it. We've been in the community a long time,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to another great season.
We'll see you soon.